Hello everybody and welcome to my new video in this Tesla series. So in this series I attempt to explain each point that I make in my broader Tesla bullish videos, and so I intend to unpack one of the reasons why I believe, one of the many reasons why I believe Tesla is a better stock and Tesla is a better product. And one of those reasons is buy online, skip the dealership. Why it's better. A lot of people dislike dealerships, and I hope to discuss in depth this point as to why the Tesla car buying experience is so much better. Before I go into the video, I just want to say that I'm not going to discuss why dealerships are better from a margin standpoint from Tesla. Dealerships are obviously, skipping the dealership is obviously wonderful for margins. For car manufacturers. But I hope to talk about all of the reasons why Tesla has a bigger margin and better efficiency in another series. So I'm not going to discuss that in this series. And before I go into this topic, also please note that I am fully aware that traditional auto dealers have an order online pickup in the dealership model, and they're pushing that. But that model is fundamentally different from the pure online approach that Tesla is taking. In the instance of an order online pickup in dealership model, you're just using the internet as a proxy for a phone call. You're still buying it from a dealership. And so that still comes with essentially the same limitations as you would have. Most of the limitations that you would have in a dealership, they come in those models where you just order it online. Because you have to deal with a dealer, you have to deal with back and forth, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of competition from traditional auto to try to get into the online space. So also, depending on when you watch this video, they may have gotten better. Okay, now that I've put that out of the way, let me discuss why buying a car online is so much better than at a dealership from a customer standpoint. Why do customers will prefer buying a car online? And that is one of the part of my investment thesis in Tesla. Well, let's look at some anecdotal evidence. So this is a pretty popular video, one of many about dealerships, and it's from CNBC, right? Can't call CNBC a pro-Tesla company. And CNBC says, why Americans hate car dealership. And I will say, why do many Americans dread going to a dealership? And I recommend you watch this video, but beyond that, I would really recommend you watch the comments, and keep in mind that these comments are voted by people that have had similar experience, or that at least relate to what is being said. And so if you look at some of the comments, it's just insane. So look at this first one. When my daughter bought her first car, a Prius in Sacramento, she was at dealership at 9 a.m. and didn't get out until past midnight. She said that it was a game of who could wear each other down. Her next purchase, she says, will be a Tesla to avoid this horrible dealership experience. That is not an uncommon statement to hear about dealers. Some people hate going to a dealership so much that they're willing to buy a Tesla just so that they can avoid going to a dealership. That is just the way it is. Look at this one. Hidden fees, right? That's a big deal. Chris, the dealer charged me a recondition fee for $3,000. They tried to rush me into signing and enticed me by having the car being cleaned and prepared right outside the financing window. Yeah, if you go into a dealership, it's often like that. They have a financing window where you can see everything. They even moved my kids' car seats out of my old car into the new one. Talk about a tactic. Talk about a sales tactic. That's a bold one. But this is anecdotal, but keep in mind that this is voted by a lot of people. So perhaps not that anecdotal. And I bought a car at a dealership, and I've had a terrible experience myself. Look at Red Fury. What is Red Fury saying? I remember seeing employees calling their customers an idiot and sucker while going out to take their money. Couldn't stand the environment. Someone walking at a dealership. Another one. When a business professor told him, Freddie, When you buy a car, the salesperson will ask you about your last car and your driving habits. You think they're being friendly and making conversation, but they're actually gauging how informed you are, so they can better rip you off. And of course, this is a superlative, and I'm sure there's a little exaggeration in all of these. I don't want you to think I'm naive or anything. Um, but how much exaggeration really is there? Because if you look at very serious, non-anecdotal stuff now, if you look at actual survey data from a Harris poll of 2,100 adults, and these polls really tend to have samples that represent the American population, what you find is pretty stunning. The findings of a poll of 2,000 adults. Look at this. It's just pretty crazy. 3 in 5 Americans feel like they've been taken advantage of shopping at a car dealership. 56% of Americans 18 to 34 would rather clean their house than go to the dealership. 34%, 18 to 24, would rather wait in line at the DMV. And 24% would rather get a root canal. Remember, 18 to 24, well, first of all, that was a survey from 5 years ago. So now, right, we're closer to their car buying, to a prime car buying age. Even the 18 years old are now 23, right? So these are the buyers of Tesla. And this is what they say about dealerships. 87% of Americans dislike something, at least one thing, about shopping at a car dealership. That's just insane. That is just insane. And this is another slide, which is even more compelling to me, which is crazy. It's like people with kids. So the number of people with kids who buy cars, and if you go buy a car on a weekend, you're obviously having your children with you. It's like overwhelmingly anti-dealership. They are so anti-dealership. They dislike negotiating with a dealership person. They dislike going to the dealership. For most people with kids, with kids under 18 and without kids under 18. So both of them, very, very, very strong numbers in a poll of 2,100 people. Harris is a serious company. It's a serious company that does these polls. So we have some data backing the fact that people don't like dealerships. And now I'll move on to more qualitative stuff. Why is buying online better? So why would it be better? Let's think critically as to why it's better. Well, first of all, you get clear, transparent pricing. It's an Amazon-like experience. You know what you're going to pay. You have a cart, you have a shopping cart, and then you check out. So you don't have problems like hidden fees. That's done. Home delivery in most cases. And sometimes you have to go to a delivery room or a showroom. But in most cases, it's home delivery. Imagine how convenient that is. If you buy a car and you don't have a car, you have to get there. And sometimes, it's not going to be your local town's dealer that has the car. Sometimes you have to go 2 hours away. So again, no big deal in the grand scheme of things. But in the 21st century, where customer centricity is the main thing that matters, where customers expect an Amazon-like experience, this is a big deal to have small things like home delivery. It's a big deal. Zero pressure. So you can go on the website as many times as you like. You can configure your car. You can post it on social media. You can do all of this stuff without any pressure. Everybody gets charged the same, right? How much you get charged does not depend on your negotiation skills. Another point, if you hang out with a lot of Gen Z or Gen Z yourself, don't talk to anyone. Don't talk to anyone is a big deal. That's the reason why behind all these chat apps, people love to chat. People don't like to talk on the phone. I mean, phones even have AIs that talk to sales rep for us. My Google phone has an AI that does that. It's essential for Gen Z and millennials to minimize talking to people. And haggling, negotiating, it's all about talking. And I don't think today's buyer, the modern buyer, wants to do that. And perhaps it depends on culture, but at least in America, I don't think the modern buyer wants to do that. and chat and stay a whole day to chat about a vehicle and negotiate. You're free to search financing on your own if needed. You don't have a pushy dealer, and I'm not saying that all dealers are pushy, but you don't have a dealer trying to upsell you financing. Financing is one of the main ways for which dealers making money, especially on new cars, so they're going to push it. And you have no more hidden fees. I already discussed hidden fees a little bit, but no more especially upsell or upmark or car hoarding. And I want to talk briefly about car hoarding. So we know that electric cars are extremely popular right now. It really doesn't matter the brand. Any brand is going to sell out because it's what 7 to 10 times cheaper to drive an electric car. So of course people are going to flock to electric cars just for the cost. And so this is very interesting. Ford is one of the U.S. legacy auto company that has been doing the best as far as developing a compelling car. I would argue the Mach-E is a fine car. And so they released their Mach-E last year. And guess what happened when they released their Mach-E, right? They have to go through their dealer network. And guess what happened? Well, look at this. Ford Mustang dealers reportedly adding $15,000 markup over MSRP for a brand new Mustang Mach-E. All right. Look at this tweet right here. Why shoppers hate car dealers? A Ford dealer in Illinois on their showroom floor. 10K markup. And look at this. Here's a picture. The dealer charging adjusted MSRP, market adjustment, $10,000. It's shameless. It's shameless. It's again. People making money. It's the nature of capitalism. But this is not how 21st century businesses work. 21st century businesses put customer satisfaction before all. And this is another example, which I think is even more compelling because one may say, oh, it's anecdotal, it's just one dealer. But no, it's not. If you look at this is from, of course, these cars are very popular. So they have the Mach-E forum. So this is from the Mach-E forum with people who are very interested in buying the Mach-E. And this is a post from someone rejoicing at the fact that they only paid $3,000 over MSRP for their Mach-E. And they are included all of the calls that they made to dealers about the markup. And what, you have 16 calls right now? Look, 10K markup, 20K markup, 12.5K markup. These are all different dealers. They all did it in that person's area. I don't know where that person lives, but they all did it. And that was in May 13, 2022. Right? That person joined, and that person made the post on June 10. So probably the shopping happened sometimes between May and June 2022. So that was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, we were still doing markups. They've been doing markups for how long? And so some people may wonder why you have a lot of people on the internet calling dealers stealerships. Well, I'm not really wondering why. That's why, because 5 months ago, long after the car was released, you still have 16 dealers in one person's area who are all doing a markup. And what is this behavior called? Well, this behavior is called scalping. And again, I am as capitalist as the next person, but this is not how a business that is all about customer satisfaction, this is not how businesses run in the 21st century. That's why gaming venues like basketball games try to stop that behavior. That's why GPU companies like Nvidia was going really, really hard after resellers, not wanting markups like that. Right? Brands typically fight that behavior. You're not going to create a great brand experience when people realize that there's some rent seeking going on. Rent seeking is not something that customers like, and businesses today have to be customer centric. And so I feel bad for Ford because this still happens today. Dealers are supposed to be partners of Legacy Auto. We're not supposed to make them look bad by doing that. We're supposed to be partners. We're clearly not. So all I have to say is good luck with Ford with the next Mach-E batch when they release it, and with the F-150 Lightning. The F-150 Lightning is anticipated to be highly in demand. What are dealers going to do? And again, I know they're trying to fix that. But evidently it's not fixed yet. And this is a problem of this behavior. And I am assuming that any legacy auto that has a network of dealerships still around is going to deal with that problem and have that problem. Because they're partners on paper, but in practice, they're not. In practice, they're competing between dealers, and they are competing with the automaker. And again, car purchasing, these are my final thoughts here. Car purchasing is a consumer experience. It's a consumer experience after all. It should not be a dreaded experience. It should be something that is enjoyed. And right now, the dealership is dreaded as both anecdotal and quantitative data that I've shows. And I'll conclude with this. Can Legacy Auto ever offer this experience? Well, they're trying. But it's tough. It's very, very tough. I wouldn't make a bet that they can do it. It's tough because there's a lot of dealer laws. There's a lot of protests. A lot of the reason why you want to go direct to consumer also is that you can have modular or made-to-order manufacturing. You have a lot of unions that are against that. There's also the little problem that it's a convenient practice for legacy automakers to book revenue when cars are shipped to dealer. So when it's the end of the year, you just ship all of the cars to dealers and recognize revenue. CFOs are going to like that. So they're trying, but I think it will be a tough fight. And when you're in a transition period, it's really, really tough for you to give up on your main source of revenue for hopes to have a better direct-to-consumer service in the future. It's a tough situation that we're in. But kudos for trying. But it's a tough situation. And Tesla has been selling online successfully for very effectively at least 5 years, and in a more scattered way for at least 10 years. So Tesla has really figured out something by selling online. As the one anecdotal comment from earlier shows, where this person's daughter said, I'm definitely buying a Tesla next time because I don't have to go into a dealership. This was not investment advice. This is just entertainment and edutainment only. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can follow me at BeatTheDenominator on Twitter. Thank you, and have a great day.